what's up? This your boy EC22 of the FairWeather Fan Podcast, man. We're in for another live show, but let me tell you right now, first and foremost, y'all, I really appreciate everything you guys do by coming and supporting the channel, man, jumping on. We appreciate your support. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to remind you again at the end of the show, but guess what time it is? It is time for another, you guessed it, FairWeather Fan cash giveaway. We're going to do it next week, so stay tuned at the end of the show. We're going to let you know how to get that $100. And you know what? I'm going to up it to $200. We're going to do two prizes, $200 gifts to you guys out there. We're going to give you details. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's how we're going to do it. But we got a special guest. You guys already saw the intro. Well, not the intro, but you saw the schedule. You saw the promo. I'm gonna let my man D-Wade go ahead and give us this sound bite, this intro to our special guest on the show today. Take it away, D-Wade.
Radio silence.
EC.
Got nervous.
So, as a youngster growing up in the DFW area,
yes, sir.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Eric, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're going in and out, but we can hear you.
Okay. So as a youngster growing up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and being a big baseball guy and following the Texas Rangers from back in the good old days, I was a baseball card collector. Okay. And I had my baseball cards, my favorite players from the National League versus my favorite players from the American League. Okay. And so I'd set them out on the floor, and my favorite National League catcher was Johnny Bench. Hello. Okay.
Hello.
But my favorite American League catcher in the 70s was a guy by the name of Jim Sundberg.
No way.
Okay?
Come on.
And Jim is our special guest tonight.
No way.
Jim,
Come on.
who is our special guest speaker tonight. Okay, listen. Y'all got to listen to this. He's a 3-time All-Star, 1985 World Series championship for the Kansas City Royals, starting catcher, 6-time Golden Glove Award winner, Texas Ranger Hall of Famer. He's a freaking phenomenal husband, a great father, a grandfather. He's a good friend of mine personally, and he is such a great mentor of men across the globe. I'm so excited to introduce my good friend and Texas Ranger, Jim Sundberg. What's up, Jim?
Dave,
What's
I
happening,
didn't
Jim?
that when you said you were a kid growing up and you had cards, I thought you were going to say, I watched you when I was growing up as a kid. We ain't that far off on age, buddy. We're glad to be here.
Facts. That is facts.
No,
Hey,
sir. No, sir. I know, but it just made me feel. Hey, Jim, I want to introduce you to is Jim there?
You still there? Yeah.
Jim, introduce me to. I want to introduce you to my good brother, Eric Curtis.
Yeah.
And my nephew, Montana, Jason Wayne J-Dub. So say hi to J-Dub and EC.
Hey, great to be with you.
Man, Jim, I appreciate you for coming on. I mean, you know, we've talked several times on the Momentum Bible study on Wednesday mornings. We'll see each other tomorrow morning, and I got a chance to actually see you in person here at the men's breakfast at Covenant Church this past Saturday. So, and I'm just disappointed today because you forgot to mention the most important thing. He is our brother in Christ and a member of the Covenant Church. Come on now, Dave, you're slipping. We appreciate it. We get Texas Rangers, but most importantly, he is our brother in Christ.
Man.
No, but Jim, man, there's so many questions that we all have to ask you, and I know we're short on time, but J-Dub, you got any questions you want to ask Mr. Sundberg, man?
I just want to sit and listen. I don't get to speak to many World Series winners and Golden Glove winners, so I just want to enjoy the first 10 minutes, and I'm sure y'all are going to talk about Pete Rose, and I'm sure he got to see up close. He was behind the plate.
Yep.
So I'm going to be quiet. It's a pleasure to meet you. So, but awesome. I'm going to be quiet.
Hey, Jim, did you hear what I said? J-Dub is up in Great Fall, Montana.
Oh, my gosh. My grandson just opened up a beef company called Montana Meat Company up there, and he's got a couple of buddies, and they got a great little thing going on.
Wow, you see that Montana Meat
awesome,
Company?
awesome.
That's what.
Yeah,
Hey,
crazy.
hey,
So
ahead,
the
go
reason one of the main reasons why we wanted Jim to come on was because Jim was playing for the Rangers during the time that Pete Rose was playing for Cincinnati Reds, and so I wanted to ask Jim to give us a little bit of his take on Pete Rose, who the player is, who the man was, what his personality was, what he did for the game of baseball. So, Jim, jump in there, buddy.
All right, David. Pete was an amazing player. I don't think anybody could argue that he's probably one of the top 5 players of all time. And he
Facts.
Watch. Huh?
Go ahead.
He's fun to watch. He was an amazing competitor. There's no one like him. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We can hear you.
Yeah. And he was just one of the top players of all time. I mean, you just can't deny that. I will say that my first experience with Pete, since back in '75, we did not play interleague at that time. The only time we could play an American League team could play against a National League team was in spring training. And so we were playing a spring training game in Pompano Beach, Florida, where where the Texas Rangers spring train, and we're taking infield practice, and I can hear some chirping in the background, and I'm not really listening, but the chirping it kind of gets loud, and all of a sudden I hear Sundberg, I hear the name, and then I start to listen, and I hear, "You aren't any good. I'm going to steal off you. You're nothing." And I look over, and it's Pete Rose. He goes, "Yeah, I said it." I'm going like, what is wrong with this guy? This guy's like too intense. Like back down, come on off what horse you're on,
Right.
and come back to earth. I don't remember what happened that day, but I do remember that we were on separate all-star teams in 1978 in San Diego. I was American League. He was in National League. And I got a chance to throw him out at that.
Kind of froze up on us, didn't he?
Better handling that than he was in spring.
There we go. We're back.
Jim, you there?
He's an amazing competitor, one of the tops of all time.
So Jim, a couple questions for you. Where do you, as a professional MLB guy who played at the highest level, where do you rank Pete Rose in the all-time greats?
Well, he's got to, as I said a little bit earlier, I think he's got to be in the top 5. I mean, obviously, his the records are. He's an amazing contributor. Made a big difference in the game, and has got to be one of the top all time. So he was really, really, very good. He stayed within himself. He was basically a singles hitter, and he didn't try to hit a lot of balls out, but he hit a few. But he basically stayed within himself. He got on base and stole a few bases, scored runs, and hit for a high average. It was phenomenal.
That's crazy. Hey, Jim, what year was that? What year was the All-Star game that you played in and against Pete in the National League. What year was that? You remember?
That was in 1978 in San Diego. 1978 San Diego.
Don't.
And
Okay. Don't get EC started about San Diego, okay? Because he'll get all crazy. We start talking about San Diego and the Pies.
Well, you know what?
All that kind of stuff. So
they got a great team. I picked the Mets in San Diego to surprise people. I have I'm a big person on how does a team play the second half of the season? How do they play down the stretch? And is the team really gelled well and winning games? And both San Diego and the Mets fit that almost as well as anybody.
So thank you for transitioning into that. So that's going to be my next question. So we've got the Mets and the Phillies, and we've got San Diego and the Dodgers and the National League side. On the American League side, we've got the Kansas City Royals and the Yankees, and we've got the Cleveland Guardians and the Detroit Tigers. So, Jim, what's your take on those four series?
Well, this is really going to be interesting because I'm not, the Yankees and the Royals. Let's start there. They've split and they go back to Kansas City. I don't think I don't think Kansas City has enough team to beat the Yankees. So I picked the Yankees. And I think the Cleveland Indians will triumph over the Detroit Tigers. And so
I love it. I love it. He said Cleveland Indians, which is my old school. Yeah.
Oh, Indians. Yes, I'm supposed to say Guardians, but I can't get.
Yes, you are.
I can't get past it. I'm sorry about that.
Hey, we all stay Indians.
Old school. And I would look for San Diego to beat the Dodgers. I'm looking at that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm looking
at
that.
Sir. Come on.
And I'm looking at the Mets to beat the Phillies. And so it could very well World Series matchup would be the Padres and the Mets in the National League Championship Series. That could be the whole World Series. I think the Yankees will come out.
It's funny you say that because my brother from Covenant Church, Bob Novinsky, is saying that the Mets and the Tigers are hot at the right time, which I agree with him. I mean, Jim, as a former big leaguer, whoever is hot at the right time. So talk about that for a minute.
Oh, without a doubt. And the Rangers last year were the premier poster children for that. They who would have picked the Rangers? And they weren't, they led the division most of the year. And then they lost 3 out of 4 in Seattle at the end of the season to lose the division championship and come in as a wild card. Who would have picked them to win 11 road games to win the World Series? I mean, it's just crazy. Anything can happen in these postseason, which is why I like it. I mean, I don't watch baseball during the season, but I watch it in postseason. And I bought a package for October so I could watch these games because I love watching good baseball and watching these teams that can upset. And so it's going to be interesting. I think the National League is going to win it this year. And as I said, I think it's very likely the Padres and the Mets against each other, and one of those teams will end up being the world champions. And so New York is kind of sputtering a little bit. They've got a great team, but I like momentum. I like starting pitching. I like the bullpen, and so that's kind of the way I'm going.
I love it. Hey, Jim, I got one question for you. I want you to tell the viewers, those folks that are listening in, what's your take on Ohtani for the Dodgers? What kind of player is he?
Well, obviously, just one of the best, and timing for a contract. He got the biggest contract in baseball, and a great player. I kind of enjoyed. I was watching some pre analysis of some guys that have played the game a long time, and I kind of enjoying listening to how they were trying to figure out how to pitch him and how careful you had to be to pitch him. And I go back to the roots. I go back. He's a 300 hitter. He makes outs 7 out of 10 times.
Crazy.
Yeah.
7 out of 10 times he makes out. And so all you got to do is make pitches. Stay out of his zone. Make pitches. And good pitching. I've always believed this. I still believe it. I see it even now. Good pitching takes care of good hitting. And you make pitches, and you'll get Ohtani out. But if you make mistakes, he's going to hurt you and hurt you big.
Fact.
So, Jim, from a Major League Baseball catcher standpoint, if you have to call pitches, who would you rather call pitches for against, Ohtani or Aaron Judge, and why?
Well, I think that Ohtani's getting. I think Ohtani's probably getting a little more press than Judge, but Judge's numbers are pretty up there. They're probably better.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I would say I'm probably more likely to want to pitch to Judge. I think there's you stay out of trouble. Don't let him beat you. If you got a base open, walk him. Ohtani scares me. I mean, here I'm kind of doing a reverse. I just said Judge is probably the better guy, but Ohtani scares me. Ohtani really scares me. He hits the high fastball. He hits the low fastball. He hits the ball away. He hits the ball in. I think Judge is a little more. You can pitch a little more to him, but you make a great question because they're probably the two best production guys in baseball. Now, Bobby Witt Jr. is probably right behind there.
Woo! Come on,
those two guys.
Come on.
Yeah,
come on.
Those
The
two
pride,
guys
the pride of Colleyville Heritage High School. Come on.
I'm telling you. And he's due. He hasn't hit yet. He's due to put some damage on the Yankees.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we'll wait and see.
So,
hey, Jim, I got to ask you. I want to ask you this one question here, and I don't know if it's a sore. I don't know if it's a sore subject or if it really means anything to you. But I grew up in the age of Nolan Ryan, and Nolan Ryan came here. He was part of the franchise, and then a couple years ago he left. And I think he went down to Houston. With being a Texas Rangers alum, came back here and retired. How does that sit well with you, or does it really just you care not about it?
Well, that's a great question because I was executive vice president of public relations and communication at one point, and I brokered Nolan back into the organization with Tom Hicks, the owner. And so I was responsible for investment in that. I had an influence in that. And so I'm a huge Nolan Ryan fan. And when the things started coming down, while senior executive vice president, and I had a front row seat to I would leave about 6 months after that. And so it was not a pretty deal. But fortunately, the Rangers have been able to pull it together in the last the last year, obviously winning. They got beyond that. Nolan has come back a couple of times. I go to the games all the time, and so I don't think there's any hard feelings at this point. We're happy the Rangers won. We hope they'll win next year.
Hey, Jim, tell the audience, the viewers, about the little situation that occurred when you and Nolan were throwing out the first pitch. Was it the All-Star game, or what was it when you split your pants? Tell the viewers about that story real quick, please. That's a great story.
Well,
tell everybody.
Well, I don't remember now if it was in 2010 or 11, but they were having Nolan throw out the first pitch, and I was going to catch it. It was a hot, muggy night, and normally you don't. I mean, it's not throwing out the first pitch. It's not like going over hitters. You don't sit down with the pitcher and go, what are you going to do here? And so I never sat down with Nolan. I thought he would just lob it in there. Well, he started winding up, kicked his leg way up in the air, and I'm thinking, oh my God, what is he going to do?
Vintage.
And he threw. It was clocked at about 85 miles an hour, and it was at my shin, my right shin. So I went down. It's either let the ball go to the backstop, which in my mind is not an option. I had to catch it. Okay, I had to catch the ball, and so when I went down to catch the ball, pants exploded. They didn't just tear in the seam. They tore in the seam and they exploded in other places. And so the air rushed in. Fortunately, I had black underwear on that night and black pants. And so the people behind me probably couldn't see a whole lot, but it felt like everybody saw the whole thing. But I've got a favorite picture. I'm sitting here looking at it. Here we go. I got a favorite picture, awesome. And I have just told Nolan right here.
Love it.
I just told Nolan right here that he blew my pants out. He blew my pants out on the pitch. So we had a great laugh about it. I wore David Murphy's pants during the game. I went in the locker room, wore David Murphy's pants. I put them on and wore his sweatpants during the game.
I love it.
Oh, wow.
So just
before
again, go ahead, Eric.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Dave.
I was going to say, for all those that are listening in, all the viewers, all the people from Great Falls, Montana, to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to Denver, Colorado, to anywhere out and about in Tampa Bay, Florida. We're talking to a guy that is a 3-time Major League Baseball All-Star player. We're talking to a guy that was the starting catcher for the Kansas City Royals, who won the World Series. Jim, what year was that? Did y'all won that ring?
85.
1985. We're talking to a catcher, talking to a professional Major League Baseball catcher who was a not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but was a 6-time Gold Glove winner at the catcher position. So this is a guy that has been there, done that, and love Jim. My favorite thing about Jim is this. He is a God-fearing man who on a regular basis mentors men to be people that are following Christ, that are living for the Lord. And I mean, that's all I can say. He's a God-fearing man who mentors other men to be God-fearing men. So I give you all the praise, all the glory, all the honor for that. Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you.
Hey, Jim, before we go, Bob have a question in our group. He wants to know, who are the best pitchers in the AL and NL currently right now, who you think are the best pitchers right now?
The best pitchers?
Yeah, in the American League and in the National League.
In the
AL. Currently, Jim. Currently.
I wish I could tell you. I wish I knew enough. Well, the Tigers pitcher who threw yesterday is I'm trying to think of his name now. He's out. He's the Triple Crown winner of. He's going to be the Cy Young winner. He's a horse. He's a tremendous guy. Tremendous pitcher. I don't know who he is as a guy, but he's a tremendous pitcher. And Nola who's pitching today has been a consistent guy for the Phillies for a number of years. He's pitching against the Mets, and but I wish I knew. I don't. I've kind of lost a little bit of track with it, but I do know when a good pitcher I see it, and the best guy is that Detroit Tiger pitcher.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so just to piggyback on what my brother Bob said, Jim, one name. Who's the toughest pitcher you ever had to face as a batter?
Oh, you'll never remember it. Mark Parrott with Seattle. I don't know if I ever got a ball past the pitcher's mound on him. He's not a big name. No one knows him. He just had my number and got me out. And I hit over 300 lifetime against Baltimore, who had some good pitchers. I hit under 200 lifetime against the Angels, who had some good pitchers, and then in between, I hit a few. I hit a few guys, but Mark Parrott. Oh my gosh! If I saw him today, I'd faint. I mean, he had my number.
That's crazy. That's crazy because there were so many great pitchers in the 70s and the 80s, and that's the guy you picked. So he must have had your number. So I just want to tell everybody, thank you, Jim. Thank you for your time this evening. Thank you for coming on and
thank you guys
sharing about Pete Rose, sharing a little bit of your insight about the Major League Baseball as a whole. And we love you. We appreciate you. And most importantly, we thank you for what you're doing for men across the globe.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. We're going to take a real quick commercial break. And once again, we thank
David,
you.
Thank
Jim.
you. I appreciate being on the show with both of you guys. Thank you.
Man, we
awesome.
appreciate
Thank
you.
you, Jim. Okay.
See you later.
You, Jim. All right. Thank you, Jim.
See you, buddy.
All right, we're going to take a real quick commercial break and bring in J-Dub, man. That was Jim Sundberg, man. We surely appreciate him for coming on. Yes, sir. Yeah. Let's take a quick commercial break. EC22 of the FairWeather Fan Podcast. Listen, do you ever wonder where I get these little t-shirts from? My little drip, my FairWeather Fan merchandise. Listen, going over to Instagram, Drip Valley 1. That's Drip Valley 1 on Instagram. Check out their list. They got a lot of different merchandise out there, and it's all custom designed. You can have your own logo. They can create one for you. You can get all different types of t-shirts. You just give Courtney what you want, give her your vision, and she will make it happen for you. Not only does she does t-shirts, but she has a large collection of tumblers, and I say this is customized for your boy EC22. But there's other things out there, man. Please go over to Drip Valley 1 on Instagram and get yours today. This your boy C22, the FairWeather Fan Podcast. We are out. All right. He said, thanks, guys. I'm Chicago, and he need to drop off. Man, I appreciate you, Robert, for coming on, man. I appreciate you for supporting the show. Thank you for also supporting my other podcast, man. I just really appreciate all your supporting that you do, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Robert.
Yes.
J-Dub, what's going on,
happening,
my brother?
fellas?
What's happening?
What? Woo! Got Great Falls, Montana in the house.
In the house. Hey, man. Hey, man. Hey, are you ready?
Bro, I'm always ready. You can throw any topic at me at any time.
Here we go.
Ready.
We ready for the WNBA postseason, man. What have you been seeing so far?
Bruh, I'm gonna keep it short. I mean, I can't say it enough. It's the Liberty's title to lose. Even the game that they lost, Sabrina didn't have a good game, and you got to have all three of the three-headed monster to win every game. And
facts.
Game 4, Asia didn't get enough touches. I mean, she only shot like 13, 15 shots somewhere in there. I'm like, listen, this is an elimination game. Y'all got to get her the ball. She should be shooting 25, 30 times that game at least. And some little girl, I'm sorry. Some young lady, some woman, shot 15 times and missed 13 of them. I'm like, those are all positions but anyway, the Liberty are easily the favorite team. Easily. I've been saying that for 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
And then you come to the other side, the game that y'all are holding me up from. The pre-games are my favorite because you get the stories and the backlogs, and that's what I like the most.
Yeah.
It's man, it's tough because both these teams are so even. That's why they finished 2 and 3. I'm not saying anything groundbreaking, but I think both teams are showing what they're good at when they could be successful. Like when the Lynx won in Game 3, you know, they didn't let Connecticut dictate the pace of the game. It helps that the little Notre Dame girl I like for Connecticut was 1 for 11 from 3. I mean, at a certain point.
Who are you talking about, Skylar Diggins or who?
No, that's Marina Mayberry.
Yeah, Marina Mayberry. Yeah.
So, and then when you flip it in Game 4, the Sun were back because Bonner was shooting better, and Lisa Thomas was back to near a triple-double. So, I mean, but Collier had to say, it's tough. I know I'm going all over the map because they're two evenly matched teams.
Yeah.
So you got a girl. I got to do better with my verbiage. You got
a woman. Yeah.
A woman. You got an Ephesia Collier who basically gives you the same game every game.
Yeah.
But can the Sun dictate the pace of the game for everybody else?
Right.
So I'm looking forward to tonight. Tip off is in like 25 minutes. I really enjoy seeing Kayla McBride and Marina Mayberry guarding each other when they don't switch off, because you got 2 Notre Dame girls going back and forth.
Right.
You know,
right.
No, but I think it's been what we expect it to be, but not like blowout versions of that. Again, we're growing the sport. Everybody's getting more interested in it. So we don't want to have a bunch of lopsided games, but I think that we've had some good games on that side.
I'm afraid of Connecticut right now because they put up 92 points, which is that's something that they don't do.
Yeah.
They're defensive team, and they found a way to get a little bit more scoring. I mean, you know, and they got more scoring from their traditional starters, the one who normally score, and then they got a little bit more off the bench than they usually get. To put up 92 points against the Minnesota team, who is a high octane team, that's saying something. But I'm gonna tell you right now. And J-Dub, you can attest to this. They're going to need that same energy tonight if they want to win this. I think Nafisa Collins she's going to have the game of her career tonight.
And she better, as their number one. Just like I said, they didn't go through Asia enough in an elimination game. Well, tonight's an elimination game 5. They got to go through their stud. They got to go through their star. And I mean, she's going to have another 30-15 game or close to it. And again, I'm rooting for the Lynx, but so I've been, I guess in the last couple of weeks, I've been really paying attention to sizes of these girls, because you're listed as a center, but you're 6'5", or you're listed as a forward and you're 6'1", and then the guard is 6 foot.
Absolutely.
So I think the thing tonight to see with all this intensity and all this emotion that's fixing to be happening is I want to see when Carrington and Collier, when Carrington gets matched up on Collier around the perimeter. I know Collier likes to drive and Carrington likes to stop the drive and makes you want to shoot. So I'm excited to see that little aspect of it. But again, all the 4 teams that were left were great. The Liberty are far and away the best team in the WNBA this year. Obviously, their record. I'm not saying anything other people haven't said, but I think I would like to see the Lynx and the Liberty personally, because I think we're going to see more offense. We're going to see more offense.
Yeah. Do you think
J-Dub?
I'm sorry.
J-Dub, you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear your comment on this. You ready?
Okay.
New York will not win the championship this year. Talk to the viewers.
So all their 3-headed monsters, Sabrina, Jonquil, and Brianna, they've been playing at the height of their game. I know Sabrina had an off game 2 games ago, but I just don't see how you can stop all 3 at the same time. Right? If Sabrina's shooting bad that night and you want to double team one of the other 2, then maybe maybe you have a chance. But Jonquil Jones was an MVP 3 years ago, right?
Yeah,
Breonna
yeah.
Stewart's an MVP every year. They got to only give it to one person, but she's MVP. I just don't see it. I don't see how anybody's got the horses to keep up with those three-headed monster for a 5 to 7 game series. I just don't see it.
Wow.
I mean, go ahead, Dave.
Go ahead. So
No.
I've watched the last 2 games from New York, and the thing that scares me about that team, and the thing that most impresses me about that team, they've got women coming in off the bench that no one has ever heard of that's contributing. That's my concern. I mean, you've been talking about the three-headed monster. You've been all about it, and I agree with you. But when they substitute,
Yeah.
they don't lose anything when they bring people in off the bench that no one's heard of. It's crazy.
No one's heard of,
But
because the sport isn't grown yet. The sport's going to grow, and we're going to be able to say in 5 more years that we've heard of these girls. We watch these girls. I mean, Juju Watkins just signed the highest Nike deal ever, and she's a sophomore. And that's not the last time we're going to hear about a story like that. The sport is growing at an exponential rate. And eventually, just like when we knew the Bulls were bringing in BJ Armstrong and and Cliff Livingston, those names were relevant to us because we watched them progress. That's coming. We don't know their name now, but we will know their name in a few years. But I agree with you. They're not losing any steps.
You know, it's crazy. In today's point, you know, you're looking at somebody like Courtney Vandersloot, who comes off the bench for Minnesota. Like, and we already know who she is, right? Long time great. And you look at Kayla Thornton, a long time veteran of the league, and these people that's coming off the bench. And then you got the young girl with Naria Sabali. How you say it? Sabali. Yeah, Naria Sabali. She's a young gun, so it's going to take a few more years to get off. To get her game, because usually it takes about 3 to 4 years for some of these women to step into their own, because you have so much talent, only have so many teams, and so we're waiting on some of these expansion teams to come out there to give some of these women some playing time. But yeah, I mean, you're talking about Kayla Thornton to have on your bench. Oh man, to have Kayla McBride on your bench. I mean, not Kayla McBride, but Courtney Vandersloot. Yeah, I mean, my goodness. I mean, y'all, they got some, and they don't need them. Because when you, like you said, when you got Breonna Stewart, when you got Soprano Ionescu, when you got Jonquil Jones, that three-headed monster, I mean, man, that's a hard team. Nobody has. I mean, when I looked at the Las Vegas Aces, have 4 women to go to the Olympics, and New York beat that team. There's no other team. There's no other team.
A couple of the Olympic spots may not have been, you know, it was deserved for a career. It may not have been deserved for right now. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, Chelsea Gray did not belong on that squad. I love you, Chelsea, but you did not belong on that squad.
I love you, Chelsea, too. I mean, she's baddie. She's a baddie.
Yeah.
EC,
Yes,
check this out for a minute, okay? So, my boy up there in Great Falls, Montana, been talking, props about the one and only Kelsey Plum. So I started watching her. I started really tuning in to Ms. Plum.
Yeah.
Hey, she got it going on, dude.
Yeah. And that leads into G questions down to the nitty-gritty. What team is the favorite and what team or player is a must-see? First of all, you got to give it up to Las Vegas Aces because they're a phenomenal team to watch, right? As well as the New York Liberty, right? They're the top 2 teams you want to watch, right? But to come down to individual talent, you cannot go wrong with watching obviously the GOAT right now, the reigning MVP with Asia Wilson. You got to watch her play. But if you're going to look at point guard play right now, a must-watch person at point guard, I would say between Kelsey Plum, Soprano Ionescu, and then I would give Caitlin Clark an honorable mention. The reason why I say she's not a must-see watch right now, because you're going to see her anyway. because she's gonna be every
coming. You got a long time to see her.
Right. You ain't got to turn on that. But if you're gonna go grab your remote control and dive into some games, you want to research something, go down and find the Aces. Watch Kelsey Plum. Oh, and my girl out of Phoenix, I love her game. Cooper, Kalea Copper. Kalea Copper.
Cooper good.
Oh my, Copper is a phenomenal basketball. She reminds me and I throw this name out there a lot. I throw out a Cabby Poindexter out there a lot, but she reminds me a whole lot of Cabby Poindexter, the way she played, the way she attached the game. But gee, honestly, bro, in order to appreciate the WNBA for what it is, you just got to turn on the game. Because you're looking at Atlanta, you're looking at Rain Howard, some of the young guns out there. There's so many players out there. Just turn on the game and you just watch them play. And not to mention, you talking about our girl down here in Dallas, Arika Ogumawale. You know what I mean? Come on now. And then look at Minnesota, Nafisa Collier dropping 42 a couple of games ago. You got just turn on the WNBA. You got a game coming on tonight. You got the
game coming on tonight. Just not just a game.
This is game 5. This is it. This winner go home. This is it. There's gonna be some crying women tonight. You know what I'm saying? So
the one thing I will say, to Gee, and then in general, real quick, and then we need to move on, is just remember that we still early in the age of this league, right? The NFL is 120 years old. Baseball was here when Moses was here. Basketball was here since black and white days on TV. WNBA is only 20 years old.
Only 20 years old.
They're still moving forward, right? It's not going to be an immediate. I mean, it's not going to be you turn it on one day and you didn't know anybody and you're going to start watching these people run up and down the basketball court. So it's taking time, and I think I keep saying this, but I think we're in the 80s of the NBA. I think we're in the 80s era in terms of publicity, in terms of marketing, in terms of talent. So bro, pick a team and follow them.
You go, man. Facts, man. Let's move on real quick to the NCAA. I'm going to do a real quick rundown of the NCAA, of what I've been seeing and what I've been watching. Man, real quick. There's a lot of top 25 teams that just lost. He said, I'm going to get to that. A lot of top 25 teams that took an L this week. Alabama lose to Vanderbilt 35-40. Tennessee lost to Arkansas 14-19. Michigan lost to Washington 16-27. USC lost to Minnesota 17-24. Then you have some of the lesser known. Louisville lost to SMU. We wanted that loss 34-27. And then UNLV, was number 25, lost to Syracuse at 44-41. And with all that being said, the reason why I threw that out there, because that shifted the rankings. Everything got shifted up, and I don't like it. I don't like the way the standings are right now. I think it's a disrespect to everything we got going on. Right now, the standings are currently Texas number 1, Ohio State number 2, Oregon number 3, Penn State number 4, and let me pull that banner down real quick. And you got Georgia at number 5. I don't like it. If EC22 would have had his way, I would have suggested that Texas be number 1, Penn State number 2, Indiana number 3, Georgia number 4, and as J-Dub said, Miami at number 5.
Of course he did.
That's how I would have had
hey,
that.
Yo, EC. No love. By fighting Texas Aggies. Knocked off Missouri. That was ranked number 8, number 9, and down there in College Station at Kyle Field. Goodbye to Texas University. So long to the orange and the white. No love for the Aggies, bro.
Listen,
they had
that's not my fault.
Loss.
So let me explain this, because right now, currently in the SEC, believe it or not, Texas A&M are currently leading the SEC. But why they're not ranked number 1, I don't know why. But probably they got that one loss, right? But because I had to put Texas number 1 because they're SEC team. They're number 2 in their division, so you might as well give them that. Texas A&M, the reason why they're number 1 in their division, because they played so many other teams. They beat more teams in the SEC. I mean, who they beat? They've beaten They beat Florida, Arkansas, and Missouri. I think one time Missouri was ranked, but not no more. But Florida and Arkansas was never ranked. But that's still 3 teams they beat. Texas only beat one. They beat Mississippi State, which was an unranked team. That's the only team Texas have played. I don't know why Texas is number one.
Michigan to open the season.
Okay.
Well, they beat Michigan. But they beat Michigan was a ranked team, but they haven't played. And that was the only SEC team they played was Mississippi State. So I get the fact why they're number one because of the Michigan game, because that was a pick 'em for the most part, and Texas beat them down pretty good, and so they gave them the number one spot, especially when you got Alabama and all them other teams losing. But I did not like the fact how they turned around and tried to have Oregon and Ohio State and Oregon. Reason being, they're Big Ten teams, but neither Oregon or Ohio State have played a ranked team. But Penn State have, and they've won. So I don't understand why they got Penn State ranked lower. And Georgia, I kept Georgia in my top 5 because they're another SEC team right there. But I brought University of Miami up for the simple fact that they're an undefeated team and they're in the ACC. So it only makes any sense to bring them up. They're leading the ACC. So why not have them? Why they're not on this list? I don't know. Because last time I checked, in case I'm wrong, J-Dub, ACC is still a Power 5 school, right? Conference, right?
Barely. Listen, so I agree with everything. I agree with every single word you just said, but at the bottom line, man, it's changed this year, and we have to change as fans. We have to change.
Facts.
The top 5 is not irrelevant, but it's not as important as the 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 spot, because that's where the argument's going to be.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to get in. All these teams that you're saying, and I agree with everything you said, right? Yeah. That the rankings aren't the same, but when I look at them every week, I'm looking at 10 to 15 who just barely didn't make it and who is making it. And I know there's conference championships that come into play and all that nonsense and yada, yada, yada. But for the most part, at the stage we are in the season, who's the top 15? Who's the 3 teams out and who's the 3 teams in that are going to have a chance to be hot at the right time? But, I mean, it was crazy this weekend. And again, I'm going to say it every week if I get to.
Yeah.
Who gets to run the SEC gauntlet? Who runs it the best?
Right now, the SEC has 9 teams in the top 25. That's 30. They're over a third of the top 25. And that, to me, makes absolutely no sense.
All of them can't win.
Exactly. I mean, Ohio State and Oregon's about to play each other next week. So that's going to be somebody going to catch L on that. But what J-Dub's saying, for those who listen out there, what makes it so important, because right now, when you got the new playoff standards, right, 1 through 4 will have a first round bye. And so 5, 6, 7, and 8 will get to play their first game on their home turf.
At home, yeah.
At home. So I mean, so whoever win that, obviously, but when 1 through 4, when 1 through 4 finally gets to play in the second round, they get to choose which bowl site they want. But it's still a neutral. It's not their home field. So when you start looking at that middle of the pack, that's what you want. If you're gonna play the first game, I'd rather be on my home turf to get, and also to boost your numbers up. You get to give your fans another game, make more money for your organization versus trying to split it with another team. That just makes so much sense. Now, I'm not saying shoot for that 5, 6, 7, 8 spot. If you can get top 4, that's great. But all is not lost if you get there 5, 6, 7, 8 spot. But those are going to be the most important spot. And then, like I said, if you come in after that, it's just a situation where now I'm like, man, you get to run the table. You know what I'm saying? You get to have opportunity to run the table, and that's what college football is all about. Just the way they're doing it for first year around. So I appreciate that.
Okay. Fair enough. EC, gun to your head. Who is your top 4 college football teams right now?
Oh, man, look here. Right there. That's my top 5 right there. Texas, Penn State, Indiana, Georgia, and Miami. Yes, sir.
That's garbage. That's garbage. Okay. Okay, J-Dub, who's your top 4? Who's your top 4 teams in the NCAA right now?
I don't care who my top 4 teams are. So I ain't looked at it. That's what I was just done saying. I don't care who the top 4 teams are.
Such a girl, dude.
Hold on. So D-Wade. You're in the hot seat. Who is
Who's-
your top 4?
Yes, sir. Okay, so not in any particular order, not no order.
We know Aggie's going to be up
Texas,
there. Texas.
Alabama, Georgia,
Okay.
and Ohio State.
See,
Texas,
Easy way out. That was an
Georgia,
easy way out.
Alabama, and Ohio State. Until somebody proves me wrong, Indiana, that's a joke. Penn State, they're not. We are not. So yeah.
what?
And I'm
So-
gonna
so-
give
now-
shout out
now, man,
give
is
shout out
this
to
a-
my family up there. And
Is this easy for you because you got
go ahead.
obviously you got SEC and Big Ten, so that's easy for you. Is that what that is?
Yeah,
that is.
hello. Yeah.
Why not the Aggies? They're leading the SEC. Why
mean-
not them? You brought them up, remember?
Bro, because I call it like it is, bro. Okay. Yeah. Yes, I did. Yes, I
I'm like-
did.
Well, the only way I can address this in true bro fashion is to give it to me like it was served. Your list is trash.
Your list is trash. I'm on east
I
side
appreciate
today.
it. But Dave, I got a question. You brought up Penn State a few weeks ago, and you said, and I've been watching Penn State, and they do look good. They haven't really. I mean, they played what? I think one top ranked team, but I do like the way they play. So why not them in your top 4, or would you put them in top 5, but not your top 4? Was that fills your 5th spot?
Okay, so really, EC, really good question. So here's my answer. Penn State to the Big Ten is exactly what Texas A&M is to the SEC.
That's fair.
Meaning they'll take you right there to the cliff, and then they fall off the cliff. Okay,
Okay.
that's all I got to say. Penn State to the Big Ten is what I see A&M being to the SEC.
All right.
That's all I got
then.
to say about that.
Well, let's move along. Before we move on from college football, I
love my Pennsylvania people.
Yeah,
So-
my boy said, "Hey, I'm just waiting for Colorado to start losing. We don't want that, man." Then I got my great show, guys. See y'all in the morning. We appreciate you, man. But the Big 12, Iowa State and BYU in the Big 12 are undefeated right now. But we still got our eyes on Utah and Kansas State. And also is Texas Tech. Texas Tech is currently technically running on top of the Big 12 because they play more teams in the conference and they're 3-0 against the conference. But all that's going to change once the other teams start playing around. But right now, we got to give props to Texas Tech because they are in head of the Big 12 conference right now. But Colorado is doing their thing. You know, they're there. They won games. They're 4-1, so we can't get mad at them. So we'll see how long they keep that mojo and momentum going on. And let's move on to to NFL football real quick. Particular games you guys been watching?
Man, y'all start because I could fill the whole segment by myself if y'all wanted me to. This was a fun weekend.
J-Dub. I dare you. Go ahead.
Man, I'm just saying. I mean, I feel like the Thursday night game was so long ago. I had to go catch the highlights to remember what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. Do y'all realize this whole week was crazy? There were 12 wide receivers with 100+ games.
Yeah.
And there were 2 more knocking on the door. You know what I mean? And for a guy who likes defense, I mean, offense is still the thing that makes us smile. You know what I'm saying? So if you go back to the Falcons game, you know, how does every wide receiver average double digits in receptions? You know what I'm saying? I mean, in terms of yards, it's just so.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was a candidate for game of the year until we got to see the Bengals and the Ravens play.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about. I mean,
the Texans and the Bills play.
That's the next one. Next one. So when you talk about the Ravens and the Bengals, you talk about 9 or 10 touchdowns thrown by the quarterbacks. There was almost 1,000 yards of offense. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. But I think you're starting to see the separations of teams who can win the close games. And on that game, I still think the Bengals win 10 games this year. I realize what I'm saying, but I still think they win 10 games this year. Every game they've barely lost or they had a chance in the fourth quarter. But, I mean, I think you're starting to see the separations. The Ravens are finding themselves. The Vikings and the Chiefs are still undefeated. My Super Bowl pick, I hope everybody remembers it's on camera. So it was a fun weekend of football. That's all I can say.
Yeah, it definitely is one of the most exciting week of footballs we have. I mean, welcome to the NFL. I know we're week 5, but this has been so exciting. I mean, you start talking about just the matchups alone. You're talking about Joe Burrow going against Lamar Jackson. You're talking about Trevor Lawrence going against CJ Stroud. Let me pull that up real quick. I want to last week I made a bunch of mistakes, but
no, you good, brother.
We had Trevor Lawrence going against
CJ Stroud.
Right. So we had Josh Allen. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence against Joe Flacco, the mighty Joe Flacco. That was a pretty cool watch, even though the Jaguars got their first win. But Joe Flacco came out there and played his butt off. Burrow and Jackson, he came down to just a last-minute bad play. You have the Ray Finkel and Dan Marino situation where the guy did not get laces out.
That's exactly right. That's crazy.
That's how you lose that game. And then Josh Allen versus CJ Stroud, I mean, they had a phenomenal run. It was a kind of weird game because Josh Allen didn't have his best game, neither did CJ Stroud. But
one of the worst games of his career.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but that's one of the worst games of Josh Allen's career.
And what did I tell you, D-Way? I said this was the Josh Allen that showed at the end of last season, but Sean McDermott, we got to talk about this. You run the ball. You run the ball. Clock management. What was he thinking? Clock management.
Whoa. Time out. What? So you want the Jets coach and the Bills coach to get fired in the same week? What are you doing, DC?
No, what I'm saying, when Bills had the last possession of the game, all they had to do is run the ball. Because you run the ball, and then the clock keeps going, and then you got the lead. You pretty much got the game in your hand, you know what I'm saying? Or at least, you just run the ball. You don't let them get a chance to get the ball back. 3 times they threw the ball and incomplete, and they basically left time on the clock for Houston to come back and win that game. Sean McDermott acknowledged the fact that in the post game that it was his fault. But I don't like those type of apologies, J-Dub, for simple fact is like everybody knows this is football IQ. Clock management. In that type of situation, you run the clock out. And I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know if it was Josh Allen decided he wanted the ball in his hand, trying to make a big play. But this is why the coaches got to coach. And for him to make that statement right off the rip that said it was his fault, that means he made a play to run the ball, but Josh Allen was keeping the ball in his hand. And I love Josh Allen, but Sean McDermott, you got to control your quarterback. You got to make him do what you got to do. If you got to pull him out of the game and say, we're not going to lose this game because you're trying too much, we're not going to do it. No, sir.
Yeah, I mean, again, hindsight's 20/20. Everybody can Monday morning quarterback. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and no, I agree with you though. If the coach calls a certain play and they didn't have a different defense for a scheme to come in, Josh should have did the play he did. And I'm all about running the ball on the goal. I mean, in the end of games when it's crucial, you don't want any mistakes. Don't get me started talking about Pete Carroll and Marshawn Lynch, but it's very similar. But Josh, if I mean, again, I'm not going to judge him because I wasn't there. But if Josh felt like he had a better play, I get him. But all that is nitpicking week 5, right? The whole bottom line, we ain't even going to remember that in week 12. This isn't even going to be a memory. So the Texans won the game. The Bills lost. We have a changing of the guard, and I mean that's all I took from it in the grand scheme thing. Sean McDermott is going to try to protect his team and his image as best as a head coach should and does. Yeah. But I mean, me personally, as a fan, I try not to pay attention. I don't care whose fault it was. Y'all screwed up. The other team won. Who do we play in week 6? You know what I'm saying?
Everybody screwed up. Caleb Williams, man, had the game of his career last week. 304 yards, man, 2 touchdowns. He had 20 for 29 passing, a passer rating of a 126.2. Is this a Caleb Williams, J-Dub and D-Wade that we expect to continue to see more out of? he said no. Go ahead, J-Dub.
I've enjoyed Caleb Williams, and I'm rooting for him. I really am. But y'all made fun of me for trying to give up props for Derek Carr in week 1 against the Panthers, and now y'all want me to give Caleb Williams props against the Panthers in week 5? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
You're right.
But I've enjoyed Mr. Williams this year. I've enjoyed his progression. I think this is going to be a successful NFL quarterback. This was his best game of a young career, and I mean, he's certainly entertaining. I like my favorite. There's a difference between best and favorite. Yeah. My favorite quarterback of all time is Mike Vick. I'm a Mike Vick
absolutely
to the core. And my biggest complaint about my favorite quarterback is that there were times when he ran, when if he'd have let the play develop, man, Peerless Price was wide open, or Algie Crumpler was crumbling across the center. You know what I'm saying? Caleb seems to be better at that than Mike was. So if we can see the same progression, he's not as fast as Mike. Don't get me wrong. I ain't trying to say Caleb Williams is Mike Vick, but he sees the game very similarly. So I've enjoyed Caleb, and I'm not a Bears fan. You know what I'm saying?
I was glad he finally got it, because I was just saying that I'm just glad he finally had a good game, because I wasn't impressed with the other games that he had. I wasn't impressed with the other games he's had and stuff like that. But I've been trolling him. I mean, I like him, but I do want to see him fail. I don't ask me why. I'm a hater. I'm a hater. I'm a Caleb Williams hater. But D-Wade, before we get off,
I'm so disappointed in J-Dub. He was given all the love and all the props last week to Jaden Daniels, and he just totally ditched him this week. So I don't know what's up with that. I don't get it.
Go. You know what I'm saying? He's still right now, Jaden. Right now, if everybody had to vote, the American public and the sports writers, Jaden Daniels is your MVP now.
Facts.
So I mean, again, I'm still learning, because I'm not a Commanders watcher or whoever they are, the Redskins, the Guardians. I don't know.
Yeah.
Man, Jaden Daniels is that man. He's him. He's him right now. You know what I'm saying?
You're not a Commanders watcher. I like that. I'm not a Commanders watcher. I like that.
I don't know. I mean, so I'm learning I need to watch the scores of Washington, because that has never been a worry of mine.
Exactly. And you're not the only one. We all keep forgetting that they're playing.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, but he was phenomenal. So, he had I think this season he's over 75% completion rating. He's got 8 touchdowns between. I mean, bruh, I didn't know. I didn't know. I'm dumb. I didn't know what Jaden Daniels was fixing to do. You know what I'm saying?
He looked good in preseason, but this is definitely
none of us did.
Yeah. Hey, before we get off the show, man, I'm gonna let D-Wade take over. Before we get off the show, D-Wade, you're gonna take over that Cowboy rundown, the Cowboys and Steelers, real quick before we go.
So first and foremost, props to the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Any team that could go into Pittsburgh in those conditions, crazy thunderstorms, lightning, crazy weather in Pittsburgh, and come out with a W. Y'all know I am the hardest critic for the Cowboys, but I'm also the first guy to give the Cowboys the props. So much love to Dak and company for coming out of there with a W, for making plays down the stretch when they had to. offensive line did their job. I've been talking for weeks that the Cowboys have no running game. Well, they ran the football very well, very consistent up in Pittsburgh on Sunday night. And so
They did.
my apologies. We'll see where they go from here, but what a phenomenal game. What do y'all think?
Yeah. If I'm together, what are your takeaways from the game that you either like or dislike about the Cowboys game?
So first, number one, and I want to hear J-Dub also, the offensive line played very well, which allowed the running game to do well. Secondly, I was real proud of a injury-prone Dallas Cowboy defense that played hard. They played with intensity. They played with a sense of urgency. They made plays. They made stops when they had to make them. And no, Pittsburgh's not like one of the top elite teams. No, I'm not trying to say that. But any time, I don't care who you are, when you can go into Steeler land and you can win a game as the visiting team, that's a good win. It's a good victory. So I was proud of the Cowboys' effort. I was proud of the Cowboys' intensity. I was proud of the Cowboys' sense of urgency. What do you think, J-Dub?
I'm going to keep it quick. And I'm going to tiptoe the line of being a hater, and I don't want to do that, but I am going to tiptoe it. You had two teams. Neither one of them are going to make the playoffs.
God, no.
Facts.
Cowboys go in, have 450 yards. I think the Steelers had like 160 yards, and you win by 3. I mean, there were some good games. Rico Dowdle, I don't even know who he is. I had to look him up. I didn't even know what this name was. Had a good game. Dak had a good game. It's hard to win on the road. Every NFL victory is a huge victory against a professional football franchise. But, both these teams are not going to make it. And I think if you're going to out yardage a team by 3 times, you should at least score more than 10 points over them. But again, it was good, and it was a good victory. It's hard to win in Pittsburgh. I give you that. The steel curtain is still a thing, and I mean, that's what I feel about the game was
Yeah.
So, J-Dub, so when I brought this game up to EC, I'm going to tell you what he said.
I want EC to say it. Say it, EC.
He said it. He said, quote, "I am not impressed with that win." And it hurt me. It hurt me deep in my spirit, man.
Right.
That team. I mean, that win was the chemistry was off, obviously, between CD and Dak. We saw that. We all saw it. The whole world saw it. They was on something else. But I was impressed with Dak that Dak chose to go away from CD and realize, you know what, this is a game situation. We cannot force stuff because you got your contract and I got a contract. Let's go get these other guys. Let's get guys that can get it done. And there were some mistakes made by his part. I think one interception when he tried to force it was his, but the other was not. Obviously, him losing the ball was not his, but then he saved the fumble too, so that Rico Dowdle lost. But my dad, I had a long conversation with him yesterday, and this is what he suggested. First of all, he said the one thing that he saw, the one thing that I saw and the one thing my dad saw was this. What I saw, they ran the ball, which they haven't ran in a while. My dad also said, but the reason why they was able to run, and I didn't realize this, because they went away from zone blocking.
Yeah.
They went for traditional blocking. So now your running back can run behind somebody. But with the zone blocking, he said things get too compact and your running backs have nowhere to go. And so he said he has a suggestion that he think that can fix the offensive line. He said he would move Tyler Bass, TJ Bass. I said TJ Bass to left guard, move Tyler Smith to left tackle, and then either between Richards or Hoffman to right tackle. He's not a fan of Terrence Steele at all, so he wants Terrence Steele gone. A right tackle position is too important. Get Terrence Steele out of there. But he's looking at guys like Brock Hoffman, maybe to bring in and to move over to that left tackle. I mean, to the right tackle spot, and then like I said, and keep with this no zone blocking. So I'm like, Pops, that's a great observation. I don't look at the game that deep, but I told him I'll give him his props and shout out on the FairWeather Fan Show. I think that's a great observation because at the end of the day, Cowboys still have talent. And the one thing I've been suggesting to everybody, I said, you're a professional in this league. And you're still considered the best of the best. You may not be on the elite status of like Zach Martin as an offensive line, or you may not be the DeMarcus Lawrence or the Michael Parsons or the Donalds, Aaron Donalds and stuff like that, but you are a paid professional athlete. And it's up to coaches. When you have guys that are on your squad that are not Pro Bowlers, then guess what? It comes down to coaching.
Mm-hmm.
You make a Pro Bowl out of them. You put them in the best situation to win. It's stuff like this, reshifting your lineup. Moving guys. If you see a guy's not doing great at that position, try something else. Try something else. Do something. But these guys are paid professional, and that's one thing the Cowboys have plenty of talent. They just got to go out there and get it done. So, I know G will probably leave a comment if he's still on about the coaching. Coaching have to get better with the Cowboys. I think they still have a team that can win with all the injuries. I still think they have a team that can win, and that's just my 2 cents on that.
No. I agree.
EC.
They have the talent, but they don't have the team, and they don't have a way to win at home, which is a big deal in the NFL. And it was nice to see the defense play better. It was nice to see the defense play better.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I hope I have to
yes.
eat my words in week 10. I hope 5 weeks from now the opinion is different. But again, y'all are holding me up from a basketball game. Do y'all know that?
Hey, all right, now we go. The final words, D-Way.
Hey, EC. You ready?
Yes, sir.
This coming Sunday, gun to your head, Detroit is in town to play those Dallas Cowboys here in Arlington, Texas. Who wins that game?
Oh, Detroit.
Yes, sir.
It's revenge. It's a revenge game. CD had to do all. He played his butt hard last year. He ain't got the energy anymore. He's not the same player he was last year. So without CD playing the way he played last year, they lose that game, and that's what's going to happen this Sunday. Then they're going to go on about it, going to come back and lose to San Francisco.
Y'all hear me? Y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
From Great Falls, Montana, to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to Phoenix, Arizona, pride of Rodney Trice, to Denver, Colorado, to Miami, Florida, all the way into Big D, Dallas, Texas. Check it out. Okay, y'all ready?
Yeah.
The Dallas Cowboys will beat the Detroit Lions this week in Arlington. Mic drop. Bam.
Mic drop. Well, there you have it, folks. D-Way is predicting Dallas Cowboys to win. J-Dub and I are predicting Cowboys to lose. That's all we have for the FairWeather Fan channel right now, man. We thank you guys once again. I will send out a video since we run out of time today. I will make a video or send out a little plug on YouTube and Instagram to show you guys, YouTube and Facebook, to show you guys the qualifications, what you need to do to enter and get a chance to win the FairWeather Fan Cash giveaway. Hey, we're going to throw it out there. Everybody has a chance to win. Yo, this has been your boy EC22 of the FairWeather Fan channel, man. Thank you, J-Dub. Thank you, D-Way. Also, big shouts out to Jim Sundberg for showing the show, man. And we are out, man. Let's go, Minnesota Lynx to win this thing.
Oh, Minnesota Lynx. Yes, sir.
All right, y'all, man. We'll see you guys next time.
All right.
All right, check it out.